YouTubers, this is another video from your friendly neighborhood reviewer, Evelyn. Today we're going to be reviewing another K-drama series. Now this series, be warned, it's a little bizarre to understand, but bear with us for a bit. The series is called Jinxed at First. It's starring the two title characters of the female lead, the actress Seohyun. You probably would recognize her from the movie Love Unleashes. And then we have the male character Na In-woo, who plays Gong-soo Kwang. And of course, Seohyun plays Lee Sulbi, such a cute little name. So I've seen the first couple of episodes, but this video is just going to summarize so far how the story's coming together. So episode 1 begins with the intro of a young mom telling her daughter about this mythical tale about back years ago in Korea, in the Joseon area, which I assume, you know, somebody correct me if it's just like fictional, that a king had kind of like a prophet, witch type of female partner. And he used the prophet, well, they, you know, in the translation to say a witch, that the prophet helped the king banish bad luck, could see into the future by skin touch. And this gift was passed down to each female that the witch would give birth to, like their daughter. So this is kind of like a gift that gets passed down to mother, daughter. And then we see a flash forward that the mom and the young girl have been living in captivity in a secret kind of like basement dungeon of a billionaire. So this is the part where it gets a little bit bizarre. When I saw that this little girl and the mom had essentially grown up in captivity for like 20 years, the first thing that came into mind. Now tell me, who has seen the movie The Room with Brie Larson, in which she plays a teenager that gets kidnapped and she goes and bears the child of her captor? It just reminded of that situation to me like straight away. And so I was like, are they disguising this fairy tale as a story of human captivity, which gets a little bit creepy at times, because you start thinking, okay, so this woman, you know, obviously that's her daughter, but who's the father? And she's held in captivity by the billionaire. So your mind starts calculating that the daughter could be the billionaire's daughter. But as the episode progresses, we get introduced to Na In-woo, who plays the character Gong-soo Kwang. He's not a rich person. He aspires to do better. So the episode kind of opens that he's there with a group of friends, and he's friends with the billionaire's son. So apparently Gong-soo Kwang managed to get a job as an intern in his friend's dad's company. But unbeknownst to him, he inadvertently gets connected with Seohyun, in which he plays the character of Sulbi. So I'll be referring to Seohyun's character Sulbi, because Sulbi obviously is meant to be a 20-year-old girl that hasn't had no exposure to the real world, that everything is monitored because we find out that the mom has the gift of foresight, and she's there being used by the billionaire to help him in his business deals, while Sulbi is just coming into her own powers. And inadvertently, she goes and gets connected with Gong-soo Kwang, because every night, unbeknownst to Sulbi, her mom and her, they get tranquilized with sedatives, which gets in the virgin level of creepiness. But that night, Sulbi goes and spits out the sleeping pill, and she's determined that she wants to escape from the room. So she hears Gong-soo Kwang and the other group of friends making noise, so she starts banging at the metal kind of wall thing. But then afterwards, Gong-soo Kwang sneaks out from the party because he's like, he physically doesn't feel comfortable in that setting. But Sulbi manages to open up the special doorway somehow, and she ends up spotting Gong-soo Kwang. And of course, there's the other bit where the mom tells Sulbi about the only way that she might meet her prince, you know, that it's fated for people of their caliber of foresight to get together with a guy, like a soulmate type of thing. So of course Sulbi has everything like in a fantasy, in imagination. So when she sees Gong-soo Kwang, she immediately hones in that that's her prince. So she follows Gong-soo Kwang out of the place, she follows him without wearing any shoes, and then you see a sparrow of a little girl. That's the other thing. The actress Seohyun, when you see her in the movie Love and Leisure, she looks, like a nice looking, average, proportioned woman. But in this one, the poor girl, she had lose so much weight. She looks like a sparrow in a little dress and perfectly pedicured, toenails. And she follows Gong Soo-kwon into the bus, and she has no idea that she has to pay, a bus fare. And Gong Soo-kwon goes and helps Sul-bi, and he has no idea who she is. And Sul-bi ultimately follows Gong Soo-kwon all the way to his mom's house. But of course, she touches Gong Soo-kwon on his arm, and she sees into his future. And what happens at the rest of this episode gets really bizarre, and it gets down to fate. When Gong Soo-kwon inversely takes Sul-bi to his mom's fish shop, because mom sells fish, and there's that kind of interaction. But Gong Soo-kwon's mom sees Sul-bi's necklace, because apparently her mom and her, they wear this necklace in which each time that they see into the future, it lights up. It's kind of like a battery walk for them. And we see that Sul-bi's mom had met Gong Soo-kwon as a child. There's a photo of them, and the mom instantly recognizes that. And then Gong Soo-kwon takes Sul-bi to the fun fair. Somehow he gets roped into this. They have a nice time, but we see kind of hints that Sul-bi is bringing Gong Soo-kwon good luck, because Gong Soo-kwon's doing these doing these games shooting, throwing arrows at balloons, and he's winning, and he's thinking, oh, stroke of good luck. But we find out it's actually Sul-bi that's bringing good luck to him. So Gong Soo-kwon goes and returns Sul-bi back to the hotel, but the billionaire is there, and he immediately accuses Gong Soo-kwon of kidnapping Sul-bi, pretending that Sul-bi was a daughter of one of their guests. And he gets framed for kidnapping, and he's sent to the police station. Afterwards, when coming back home from his mom, a driver goes and tries to kill both of them, but unfortunately Gong Soo-kwon's mother dies, and he ends up surviving. And you start thinking, Jesus, things are going worse the bad for him. Simply, he just didn't really do anything. He just walked out from the hotel, and Sul-bi got attached to him. So you're thinking, this is kind of coincidence, whatever. And then soon after, I can't remember specifically how it went, but Gong Soo-kwon is there on the boat. I think he's throwing his mother's ashes, but the boat guy turned out to be a hired hitman and goes and whacks Gong Soo-kwon on the head, and he ends up washed ashore to some other part of Seoul, maybe an island or something, I don't know. And then we see the friend, which the friend's name is So Min-jun. He's a good guy, because he goes and confronts his dad saying, what have you done with my friend? Did you have him killed? And then the billionaire is having none of it. So we get a time jump forward. We found out that Gong Soo-kwon has changed his name to Seohyun. I know. Well, anyway, he's changed his name. He's living in a remote kind of town village thing. But however, bad luck follows him everywhere, and a lot of coincidence happens. But now all the other village people, people in the market consider Gong Soo-kwon extremely unlucky and detrimental to their business. So they want to kick him out, but he's determined to stay. And then we see what happened to Sul-bi after the whole escapade of her escaping. We see that the billionaire has been tranquilizing Sul-bi, and she's very unhappy with the situation, and she wants to find Gong Soo-kwon. So the mother goes and tells Sul-bi, I'll help you escape, because we see that the mother's life force is slowly draining away. We find out later on in the episodes that each time that the witch or the woman goes and uses more and more of her power, the light dims out and out and out until they unfortunately pass away. Because of course the mom points out a good thing, that even though they take away the bad luck from whoever they're helping, the bad luck has to go somewhere. So it's kind of the inference that the woman, the witch, the prophet, I don't know why I feel bad saying witch, but anyway, the psychic, fortune teller, that it's that the bad luck is there consuming them, maybe almost making them go a little crazy, because we can see that evident with the mom's necklace. It's basically so dull and black. So she goes and sees into the future for Sul-bi and manages to help Sul-bi escape. But of course there's the other thing that, there's the creep factors in which Min-jun's dad, the billionaire, goes and tells Min-jun that about the powers that Sul-bi and the mom have, and he says to Min-jun, Solby's for you to make your, to make you success, to make you powerful. And you start thinking to yourself, and what more? What more? Is going to be like forced, sex slavery or something. So that's the other part what I say about this show, that it's kind of like a fairy tale disguised with human captivity. Minjun, the son of the billionaire, doesn't say anything when he sees Solby escape, because he wants Solby to escape, but we don't know what Minjun's greater feelings is towards Solby. So Solby manages to find Gongsu Kwan in an island, where she's living. I keep saying island, but we just, an unspecified location. And she ends up going back into Gongsu Kwan's life. And of course, Gongsu Kwan is not happy seeing her. He kind of I would be too, understandably. This girl that kind of met me out of the blue caused my life to go completely down the drain, have to change my name, go into hiding. But slowly, we start seeing that Solby was told by her mom that women in that kind of lineage of the power as being a witch, fortune teller, goddess of luck, whatever you want to call it, if they can become human if they find their true love. So we kind of get a Beauty and the Beast / maybe Little Mermaid. That's the other thing about this show. You kind of feel like it's the Little Mermaid, that she comes into the land of the living and she's mythical and that she's beautiful and that she kind of looks like something out of the world. Because also as well, Solby has these quirky habits, and she was limited of reading material. She can name various aquatic species, like different types of fish, sea life, sea animals. So you can kind of have those hilarious moments. And even though Gongsu Kwan wants to, send Solby away, somehow she ends up being attached to him. So for episode 3 to 4, we have the discovering of that Solby's mother, unfortunately, was kept captive by the billionaire's father. We found out that the billionaire's father originally had Solby as slave in captivity, and then somehow she ends up escaping with some bodyguard, and then we find out that this bodyguard ends up being released 20 years later from jail. And then when the bodyguard comes out, he finds a mysterious driver there waiting for him and gives him a card, and the bodyguard's like, what? I've already served 20 years in prison, what more do they want from me? It's not told directly, but we kind of assume that this bodyguard that helped Solby's mother escape is the father of Solby, and I'm like, duh, duh, duh. But then again, I have my theories. That the billionaire's son clearly points out saying, is Solby my half sister? But the billionaire is kind of like, no, when the mom came back to me, she was like already pregnant. So we're like, bodyguard, billionaire. Bodyguard, billionaire. We don't know who's the father of Solby. But then again, we see that the billionaire is suffering from nightmares, in which the father of him also had. But we don't know the exact circumstances in which the billionaire went and got Solby's mother, as his captive. But then again, he starts having a change of heart when Solby's mother tells the billionaire to stop looking for her daughter, in which I haven't finished watching the end of episode 5, I haven't finished watching, but he has a change of heart and starts people looking for her. And there's the other parts of the series that we have yet to find out. What's the true nature of the power that Solby and her mother has? And what's Gongsu Kwan's role in this? Because apparently Destiny's putting them together. And also So Min-jun. Like, what's his role in all of this? Because so far he wants to help Solby, but then again he's kind of like, he knows that Gongsu Kwan's alive and Solby's with him, and he kind of tells Solby that he can protect her, just come back. Like, he says, what happens if my father finds out? We don't know the ramifications about him knowing about Solby, Min-jun. And there's the other player on the board, in which we find out that the billionaire's brother is on the other side of the company, because the sense we get that the billionaire's father's company split into two, in which the billionaire did his own company, and then we have the father's company. And then we have the uncle that, the brother of the billionaire that wants Solby as well for himself. So there's that kind of warring factions that everybody wants, these women with powers for themselves, because of course they want riches and fortune. Well, anyway, that's me summarizing from 1 to 4. If you made it to the end of this, big thank you. Let me know who's seen this series and what do they think, and if they think the series is that as bizarre as I think about it. But then again, the series has its real funny moments, and it's real like, you start to now believe in the whole fantasy with Solby being like basically like a little kitten. And we come to the end of the video. And I want to say a big thank you to all the new subscribers and to any new viewers. I really appreciate it if you can leave this video a share, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And to all those K-drama fans, thank you for watching. And for anybody else, thanks. Bye.